when it comes to costs, the study found very interesting hidden costs. Let me tell you the number one right away. That's about help desk. Help desk definitely skyrockets. And by the way, it increases the number of help desk calls or tickets, but it also increases the cost, or if you want, the time to process those requests. And let me explain you why. The whole IT model, operational model, it's really designed to provide security and reduce costs. And it's based, and developed over the years, and it's based on the concept of the single standard. For every single piece of technology that corporate IT provides to the enterprise, there is a standard. There is a standard in that company for email. There is a standard in the other company for the laptop. Another company might have a corporate standard for the smartphone, a BlackBerry and so forth. Now, this system is designed to reduce procurement costs on one hand, but also to streamline help desk and support for that specific technology, so that you can train internally your IT people so that they know how to react to a request to replace a battery for a smartphone or something like that. Now, when you get into a BYOD model, well, think about this. There's no single standard. In fact, any standard is as good as any other one. The corporate cannot train internally the personnel in IT to cost effectively answer these kind of questions. But at the same time, the company cannot leave the employees on their own and ask them to ask their own carrier how to access corporate email. The mobile operator will not know how to help them. So what happens is that the number of calls increases and the time to address these calls becomes even higher. In fact, if you look at the escalation process, which means that the first responder is not able to address this question and passes the question to someone else, for BYOD-related questions or tickets, usually you have 2-3 levels of escalation. And this is quite expensive. The second hidden cost that I would invite corporates to think about when they look at BYOD is the cost of licensing software. Now, what happens, to be short, is that most of the software that the employees procure for their personal use is licensed for home use, not for business use. And you can think to Microsoft Office or many other applications. Now, what happens is that when the employee brings in this software and uses for work-related activity, working from home, remotely, or in the office, well, they are in effect breaching that license because there is an individual who's not doing really a personal use of that Office Word application. Now, the interesting part is from a corporate perspective, because the corporate in this case is at all the fact leveraging and benefiting from that specific software used and not procured by the corporate. So software vendors usually go back eventually and reconsider the renewal and the overall agreement with the customers in this case based on these BYOD situations. Third cost, very quickly, the companies should definitely expect is an increase in server-side software, and in particular, or infrastructure software, in particular with regard to security. This is a key point to understand. BYOD is happening driven by consumer-grade technology, Apple, iOS, Android, namely. Now, this technology is great, it's sexy, everyone wants it, everyone loves it, but it's not designed with corporate security or corporate-grade security as a key design factor. So what happens then is that corporates will have to fill the gap, to plug this hole caused by this consumer-grade technology. And this is something that should be taken into account. Might not be that expensive, but if you multiply by the number of the users eventually that bring in this technology, this might actually quickly add up.